you. Yeah, your friends think you ain't gonna change. Yeah, your friends think you're going to stay who you are. Yeah, your friends think you ain't going to never be nothing, have nothing, and be nobody and go nowhere. He said, but if you just believe in me, I'm going to make sure that I won't embarrass you in front of your friends. But if you do it on your own, you'll embarrass yourself. I know he's talking about salvation, but he is also talking about ownership. When we accept him, we become his. And he says in verse 12 that at that point there's no difference between the Jew and the Greek, for the same Lord is rich unto everybody that call upon him. So yeah, the text is about salvation, but in verses 11 and 12 he slips something in there that categorizes everything that we need. He says, once you accept me, I now become responsible for you and you're mine. And then he goes on to make that the Greeks know that he is for them. He says, ain't no difference between you and the Jews. I don't know about y'all, but when the last time you seen a broke Jew? Any of y'all know about Jewish folk? Almost all of them live over in Aventura. That's right. Yeah, can I talk for a minute? They own Hollywood. You know, next time, I'm going to be honest, the next time, don't leave when the movie's over. Start to read the credits at the end and you're going to say, produced by Swan. Production assistants, Weinstein. Movie credits, Saul Bernstein. You go down to the Diamond District. Guess who owns the Diamond District? The Jew. You go to the bank. Guess who owns the banks? And God says simply this: ain't gonna be no difference between you and the Jews. I own them. And because you've accepted my son Jesus Christ, I also own you. And it is now my responsibility to take care of you. And look what he says. This is what you got to catch. He says, I'm rich. I'm going to talk for a bit. He says, I'm rich. And here's what I want you to get. For those of you that might not got a job in a while, for those of you who don't look for the sunshine anymore, for those of you who have given up and don't have any more, God says, I'm rich. But this rich is not money. Look it up for yourself. It simply means that he said, I have abundance. Abundance means whatever you need. Whatever you need. I have an abundance for every situation if you will just. I was with a young man yesterday and he was so miserable. I've been calling him the last few days. I said, boy, what's wrong with you? I said, you let your eyes focus on your situation and all for the Lord. I said, didn't you just pray about 3-4 months ago for you and your friends to start getting jobs? He said, yeah. He said, but they got theirs and I ain't got mine yet. I said, but you're the one that initiated the prayer. Don't you know God had to take care of everybody else before he could? All you got to do is, that means he has a solution to everything. Hear me now. And every report. I got to get to the report thing and I'm going to get out your way. Paul says, who believe my report? Report. Let me take my time with this. It means what you have heard. And Paul is talking about Jesus Christ here in this 10th chapter. And as him talking about the Lord, he looks around at the folk like I'm looking at some of y'all right now. And I want to turn to the Lord and I said, Lord, who believe? I'm looking, Lord. You looking? I wonder how many of them believe that you got abundance for every solution, a solution for every problem, supply for every need. I wonder, can I just teach you for a minute? He says, who has believed my report? And the report literally means who believes what you have heard. And it is based on an examination of where you're at the time of the report. Oh, I'm going to break this thing down. But let go. A report means simply, do you believe what you're hearing? Do you believe what you heard? And the report, the final report, is based on where you're at the time of the report. Can I talk a little bit more? It's like an appraisal. Look, when somebody gets a house appraised, the value of the house is in the appraisal. And here's the thing, when the person goes and does the appraisal, if the house is run down and needs some repairs, it loses the value of the house. And so when the person goes and does the appraisal and looks at it and it looks like it needs some work to it, they're going to give it a bad report. Not that the house can't be fixed, not that the house can't be torn down and a new one built, but when they go and look at it right there, where it's at the time, they write their report. I know I'm over some of y'all head. Let me come down there. Is there any class clowns in here that when you was in class, the teacher gave you an appraisal right then and said you ain't gonna never be nothing and nobody, and gave you a report card with all B's on there? Is there any former class clowns in here that the teacher lied and you are somebody and something right now? Am I talking to anybody? I know. It's just, there's some women here. Can I talk to the women? Can I talk to the women for a minute? Is there any women in here that when your ex and you broke up, he said you can't make it without me? The only reason you ever had anything was because of me, and he is the report. You'll never be nothing, nobody, and that nigga gonna want you. You're gonna wind up having to come back home to me. Am I talking to anybody? They will give you a report based on where you are right now. I'm gonna preach. I feel the Holy Ghost. When man does a report, his appraisal is based on what he sees at the time. His man's assessment of your situation is based on what he sees at the time. If the appraisal is terminal cancer, the report says you're gonna die. Man's report is always based on what he sees at the time. I'm not talking to anybody. But Paul and Isaiah's report wasn't based on man. It was based on Jesus. I'm taking time. While I was out witnessing, I was trying to get ready to finish for the day. And so they went in the neighborhood yesterday, and God has a way of working things out. So somebody called me and said, Pastor, these two guys, they asking a bunch of questions. You need to talk to them. And so I went over there, and both of them rolled up on me. If I can say it that way, we in the hood, they rolled up on me. And both of them had, it wasn't no gin and tonic, it was straight up. And they were standing there and they were talking to me. I'm the pastor with the gin in their hand, holy as I am. They didn't care about who I was. And so what they said to me is this. They said, why is it that y'all come in the hood? Why y'all don't go over to Biscayne Boulevard and talk to the white folk? Why you don't go out to Hialeah? Why is it that you only want to come in the hood and talk to us? And so I said to them that, you know what, I could tell you that I really do want to go to Biscayne Boulevard. I could tell you that I want to go to Broward. But the truth of the matter is, in the hood is my mission. The reason that God sent me to the hood is because I'm from the hood. And what I've come to understand is, even though you're standing here with this gin in your hand, I'm not going to condemn anybody to hell, because I believe enough in God that I don't know who the next somebody is that He's going to say, I'm not going to give you no bad appraisal, because I believe in Jesus. I know that He can do it. You see, God's report are not based on the appraisals of your condition now. Can we let that sit there for a minute? It's rough now. I know you see it's rough, but God don't care what you see.